What's going on, family? This is your boy Jay. We got another cool video for y'all today. What we're doing is smoking some beef ribs on the Brazos. You heard me right. We're smoking some beef ribs on the Old Country Barbecue Pit's Brazos smoker. All right, so let's get into it. So what we're gonna do first is get these ribs nice and clean. We're gonna wash them off really quick. This first slab that you see me washing off, that slab is a slab from Porter Road that I had in the deep freezer. The second one is from Sam's. And I will say, if you buy the beef ribs from Sam's, you gotta buy the double pack. You can't buy them separate or before you want them, or before they slice them up. You gotta get them whole, and they come in a double pack. And I wasn't too bent out of shape about that, because I mean, who doesn't want to have an extra slab of beef plate ribs in their deep freezer, you know? So what we got here is this: the black pepper I'm using. It's a restaurant style black pepper from Kroger. It looks pretty close to the 16 mesh that you see everybody use. We got some Lowry's. We get some beef bouillon going into the rub. All right, you gotta have your beef bouillon. We got some smoked paprika. The Badia brand is awesome. I love this brand of seasonings. You guys should definitely give them a try if you don't use Badia. And we got some garlic powder. All right. So I put the exact measurements that I use in the beef rub up across the top of the screen here in a minute. But you gotta have you some beef bouillon. I think that's a key that a lot of people miss out on, and it adds another layer of flavor to these beef ribs, especially when they get done cooking for 7-8 hours, however long it takes, and really pile on the smoke flavor alongside the Lowry's and the beef bouillon. The brand of beef bouillon may not matter, but I like to use the Knorr brand. Knorr, it tastes pretty awesome on just about anything. I use it on a lot more than just beef, but yeah, get you some beef bouillon and combine it with the Lowry's. So I think I used about 4 or 5 tablespoons of Lowry's. We're gonna go in with about 4 tablespoons of the beef bouillon. My first container right here starts to run out on me, and I gotta swap it over, but never mind that. You'll see the ingredients or the measurements come across the screen here in a bit. We use, I think, 3 or 4 tablespoons of garlic powder and 2 tablespoons of paprika. And the black pepper, we're gonna apply that separately. That way you can get an even coat of pepper, and you can make sure that the salt seasoning kind of gets down in between the black pepper and sticks to the ribs the right way. And you want to pat all those things in. You don't want to rub it, you want to pat it down. But you'll see all that coming up here in a few minutes. So yeah, make sure that you add your pepper separately. We'll do that first, and then you add your rub. You're gonna give the rub a good mix and set that to the side. Make sure it gets mixed up really good so you can apply that evenly across the beef ribs, front and back. And don't forget the sides. All right, for our spritz, we're gonna mix together some W sauce or some Worcestershire sauce. We're gonna add some warm honey and some warm water. Those are only 3 things we're gonna add. I usually do mustard on brisket and beef ribs, pork ribs. You see a lot of folks use mustard, and I usually use mustard on just about anything and everything. But this time in particular, I want to do something different. So I want to use some W sauce, some honey to give it a little bit of sweet aspect. You may not even taste any of it on the back end. And some warm water, just trying to mix it up a little bit, trying to get creative in the kitchen. Those are the exact measurements I use for each of the ingredients here. And it came out to be a little bit less than 30 ounces there in the bottle. I think it came out to be like 20 or something like that. But I'm only going to spritz when the ribs look crusty or dry on the smoker, which I don't think will happen. I've done this method a couple times, and I really haven't had to spritz much on the smoker. But yeah, that's really just for when they start to look crusty or whatever on the smoker. I don't plan on wrapping them at any point during the cook. I really only plan to wrap while they rest. I even started to do that with my pork ribs and my brisket as well, and it really comes out pretty good. I mean, really, I would say the best I've ever made. Yeah, just wrapping for the rest with some tallow really makes a really good product on the end. So Now we got our spritz made. We're just gonna start to trim up some of these beef ribs. I really don't have to trim beef ribs much, but I decided to trim it up just to have an even layer of fat on top. I've even seen some videos where guys kind of trim the fat all the way at the top and just have meat exposed, which is cool. I mean, I think it still comes out pretty good, but I don't know. I mean, we all know fat is flavor, so I want to have some type of fat on the top to kind of protect the meat. And also, I like the way the fat renders on top of these ribs when they get nice and cooking good on the grill. So trim them up some, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect or beautiful. Give it some good sprays with the spritz, or the I guess you can call it a slather, but spritz on the ribs on all sides, the front, back, and the sides. And then we're gonna go in with our pepper. So this pepper application is very important. You don't want to put on too much. You do want to have good coverage so you can taste it, and that smoke can stick to it as you cook it. But you want to make sure you leave enough space to where your salt-based rub can fit down in between those pepper flakes and really stick and get onto the meat pretty good, which I think we did here. And you'll see as I go around, but you'll see that nice gold color, that nice beautiful brown. That's what you want to see. All right, and I think that really comes from the beef bouillon and the paprika. All right, so on these Porter Road ribs, it came with this extra layer of meat and fat on top. I actually didn't remove that on my first time cooking beef ribs. I didn't take it off. And it cooked okay, but it actually started to burn and it got real tough when I took the ribs off the smoker. And that picture of those ribs is actually a thumbnail on one of my other videos. I think I used it to do a Porter Road beef rib unboxing. Y'all can go check that video out. But yeah, that's actually the thumbnail for that video, are those Porter Road ribs without that top layer removed. But on this one, I knew better, so I took it off from the gate and got our spritz on there, going back again with our pepper and getting ready to get these things rubbed up and get them ready for the smoker. So when your Porter Road ribs, make sure you take that top layer off. I'm just gonna keep it and make some tallow out of it, or grind it up for some burgers or something, or some sausage, who knows. But yeah, make sure you take that first thing off, that first layer off, and trim it up with the remaining fat and all that good stuff, so you can have a good coverage and good fat render as you smoke. So there go the ribs, ready for the smoker. All right, here we are at the beautiful Old Country Barbecue Pits Brazos smoker. I've had this thing for a few years and I absolutely love it. On the smokestack there, we got a little piece of extension to help with the draw, and they're going on at 275. So here we are, the first check, 4 hours in. This is what we're looking like after our first 4 hours at 275. All right, I got some tallow there in the pan, getting some nice smoke flavor on it. And I mean, look at the colors, it's just beautiful, right? So this is probably one of the easiest things that you can cook on a smoker, besides like a Boston butt, or I don't know, maybe like some chicken wings or something. But you really just set it and forget it, you know? So we got some nice color going. I'm just poking it around, make sure that nothing's getting too dry, too hard, or burnt, which is still pretty early on in the cook, so it shouldn't be, and everything feels well. So we're gonna go ahead and just keep rocking and rolling here at 275. Anybody who loves to smoke meat, I don't have to tell you what you're looking at right now. This is some beautiful smoke coming off of this thing. We're smoking with some hickory wood. So here's our second check, 5 hours in at 275. We're still looking good. All right. All right, so here we are on our third check. I'm gonna give these ribs a quick flip so I can get some pullback on the back side of those ribs and let them keep going. All right, it's temp time. It's been long enough. We're gonna check the temperature, see where we're sitting at before we pull these things. All right, and what I'm looking for is like 190, 195. And when I hit that temperature, I'm gonna pull them off, wrap them with some tallow, and let them just rest. Let them rest for as long as I can. I would say at least 3 hours, at least. But the longer the better, all right? So we're looking at like 190, 185 or so on that first rack. And now we got 192, 188 or so. So I'm gonna let these go for like another 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and then we'll pull them and let them rest. Oh yeah, 192, we're looking good. So let them keep rocking. All right, so we are in the kitchen. I'll let them go for another hour or so, and we pulled them at 195 internal. All right, so now it's time to let them rest. And all we're gonna do is wrap them in some butchering paper with some tallow, some smoked tallow that I have, and we're gonna wrap them and put them in the oven. And I think my oven is set to 150. You want to make sure you wrap these things as tight as possible. Once you get your tallow on top, you want to take your time and wrap them. Make sure that there's not a bunch of air pockets and stuff inside the paper. All right. And when I usually wrap with tallow, it's usually like a little bit cooler, where it's still like white or cloudy looking. I just kind of keep it at room temperature after I've smoked it. Like maybe, I don't know, on my previous cook or something like that. But this particular time, the tallow was still hot, so it was more liquid, but it's no issue. So I spread a little bit of water down in between paper to keep them, the two sheets from sliding apart. This makes them stick. And I guess I didn't record it while I was cooking, but I did spritz maybe like once or twice, maybe like the 6 or 7 hour mark. I just sprayed it really, really light around the edges, on the corners more specifically, just to keep those corners soft and to make sure that nothing was getting too dry on me. But besides those couple of spritzes while I was cooking, I didn't really do a whole lot. So yeah, we're gonna get this second rack wrapped up and put back in our holding temperature at 150 in the oven. All right, these things are rested long enough. Now it's time to see what we're working with. And I can tell you right out the gate, these things look amazing, all right? Look at the bark, the nice deep dark color for the bark. You can actually see some of the red on the meat as well, on the sides of that bone. Some nice deep perfect thermopan meat probe is sliding in and out real easy, like melted butter. There's no resistance. These ribs are definitely done. Let's slice them and see what we got. Now these ribs came out absolutely perfect, all right? You really gotta try this no wrap method. I really trust it. I think it really gives you a good product on the end. I mean, the smoke ring, the meat is tender, the bite was perfect. The fat render is amazing. And that's really what you want when you smoke these meats for a long time. You want the fat to render and you want a good bark and a nice tender, juicy bite, which is what we got. And guys, if you stuck with me this far, please help the channel out by liking the video and subscribing to the channel so you can get all the new videos. Peace.